If you are a real estate agent and you are tired of cold calling, door knocking, paying for ads that flat out don't work, or just tired of not knowing how to generate leads, then this is the channel for you. We are four rockstar agents who have come together to help fellow agents achieve financial freedom as well as location and time freedom. My name is Andy Hollis, along with my partners Aileen Fountain, David Doran, and Tim Hollenden. Together, we have over 50 plus years experience and knowledge in the real estate and sales and training industry, and we are hoping to pass that knowledge on to you. So let's get started.
Learning your numbers to earn more business. I think that's one side of the business that people try to neglect and don't put as much focus on it, but that's also a very easy side of the business that lets you set yourself apart from your competition and really provide value to your client, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And then Renee, like we said, is going to go into your sphere later. And sometimes, like I said, talking about numbers can make agents feel some of these things like concerned, stressed out, intimidated, anxious, uncertain. Put a lucky number 7 in the chat if that's you. But our goal is, of course, today that we're gonna make this easy, and so you're not stressing out, and also give you some insight on where do I get those numbers and how do I do it if I don't have my own numbers, things like that. So go ahead, Renee.
This is
A
us.
little bit about us. Jeff already alluded. We are a husband-wife team. We work in the greater Sacramento area. We live in the foothills up on the way to Lake Tahoe. Door to door from our front door to South Lake Tahoe, 90 minutes. So that's awesome when there's no snow and no traffic.
It's super funny. Jeff said that his wife rescued him in real estate, and we actually live in a town called Rescue. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that is our town of about 2,500 people.
So nobody's ever heard of Rescue California. Nobody can rescue California. Let's just be real, but that's where we live, Rescue California. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and I told Jeff earlier, we going back and forth with building a team. Right now, it's just Renee and I, a virtual assistant and a very part-time showing agent. The goal next year is to obviously build this a little bit. So let's go dive into the course. We're going to go over your own statistics today, in particular about list to sale price ratio, your average days on market, and the list to how many homes do you list versus how many do you actually sell. Then we're going to compare those numbers to the market and or your competition, and we're going to go over the market statistics of, I think everybody should know when they go on a listing appointment, or even if you're talking to a buyer, how many months of inventory is in that particular area that you're working in right now, and what does that mean, right? Is it a buyer's market, seller's market? So we'll go over that. What's the average days on market for the market, not just your personal production? And what's the average market to list price ratio for the market? And then and then we're gonna go really fast on the other numbers like KPIs. There's a key performance indicators. They're lagging and there is leading ones. We'll talk about those ROI and tools that are and resources that are available. Okay, let's dive in. And how do we calculate the numbers? So I think one of the most important numbers is when you meet with the seller is your list to sell ratio. In other words, what percentage of the listings that you actually take do you sell, right? I mean, what's the average days on market for your listings? How long are people in limbo until they know, well, yeah, I actually sell my house or I didn't sell my house, right? And most important for most sellers is what's your list price ratio to sales price ratio? In other words, how well do you price your property, right? And how much can the seller rely on the price that you give them so they know how much to take to the bank, right? Because that number oftentimes determines on what they're going to buy next. So what is the what percentage of, it's super easy to do it. Like you go, right? In your MLS, if you are in your CZU or in your CTE or your spreadsheet, and you just look how many listings did I take this year and how many did I sell? And hopefully that's pretty close to 100%, because then that already sets you way up aside from the market. And then when you know who you're up against, right? Sometimes it's as simple as just asking the seller, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm so excited to come out and show you today how we get your home sold and get you to Colorado Springs. Out of curiosity, are you interviewing any other agents, right? And then they're gonna say yes, no, and I said, do you mind me asking who it is? And then they oftentimes a little bit hesitant and say, oh, I don't really want to sell. I said, well, normally I'm the top agents competing for the same business, so I'm up against this, and this person normally. Is it any of those people? And then maybe they tell you, and if they don't, you go into the MLS and you pull that number for your competitors, so you know exactly what you're up against before they even go out there, or maybe they were already out there, right?
So in our market, we have a decent number of listings that expire or cancel every day, actually.
Yeah.
So Kimberly was asking if this is your own, like if you sell your own listings, and this is just period if your listings sell. So if
Right.
you don't get to that point where your listing comes off the market and somebody like me calls and says, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I noticed your home came off the market yesterday as a canceled listing. And when do you plan on interviewing the right agent for the job of selling the home? So the number of your listings that don't get to that point. So if you sell 9 listings and you took 10, you'd have a 90% list to sell ratio. That one listing that cancels or withdraws or expires, that would be your failed to sell listing.
And then I want to address the new agents, right? So if you work for a team or you are on a team and you don't have your own statistics, use your team's statistics, right? And then
Or the
instead of
brokerage.
me or us, you say we or us, right? We sell 100% of our listings. So this year, I'm proud to say, although it wasn't a whole ton of listings that we did sell, but we sold 100% of our listings. So why is that important for the seller? I mean, again, they're making plans, right? They're relying on you, that you do what you say you're going to do so they can buy that next home or can move across country or downsize or do whatever they want to do. So if you know the number for the market, or if they don't tell you your competitor, pull them for the market. And oftentimes, if you look at the whole MLS, you get way too many returns. That's just a technical issue. So just narrow it down for the market that you are in right now. So if it's Colorado Springs, then you just pull it maybe for just a subdivision within Colorado Springs if you get too many returns and say, on average in Colorado Springs, 90 or 80% of the homes sell. I sell 100% of my homes. So you have a 20% better chance of selling with me, or almost a guarantee of selling unless you went with the average agent. So that's kind of how you use that number, right? Because just knowing the number doesn't help you if you don't know how to use it. So next slide, Renee. And that's super simple. So what we do, we run basically a search in MLS on all our listings that we sold over the year, and then we just run a one-line report, and that gives us our average days on market. So for us, that's 18 days right now. On average, our listings sell in 18 days, and there's some that sold in 6 days. There's some that sold in 45 days, but not one of them took longer than 45 days. And again, the average is 18 days. So you use the number that sounds the best, of course, right? Because the statistic, you believe that statistic that you manipulated yourself.
And here's the fun thing about statistics, right? Like they can always tell the story that you want them to. And
Right.
I'm not saying be sneaky, but we have an appraiser here locally and he runs statistics for us all the time, which is awesome because then we can just, pull from Ryan's numbers. And he wrote a blog the other day and said, we have half the number of short sales than we had October of 2023. It's 1. Last year we had 2, but it's still half. So the stats can always tell the number that you want them to tell. Again, don't be sneaky, but
That's right.
it is what it is.
Then use that number because every seller has a plan, right? Again, they're not just selling because they want to sell, they want to move or they want to downsize or whatever. I like to use this quick scenario here. So if days on market, you play an integral part, right? So today, your seller needs to sell on July 1st. You being able to accurately report your days on market and your personal days on market will allow the seller to come up with the proper timing and a contingency plan because maybe they're going to sell faster than they need to. And then you have to have a plan for that, right? Let's say today is March 1st and your average days on market is 12 days. We just said ours is 18, but I did that a while back. So 12 days and the average length of an escrow is right now actually 21 days, right? Most of the times. But let's go with 30 days. And for us, it's when we get the listing signed and everything is dialed in, it still takes us about 7 days to get the listing live, right? You got to do minor repairs, you got to do cleaning, you have to send a photographer out, you have to do staging, all those things. So if you are listing on March 1st, you go on the market on March 8th, you'd be in contract by March 20th, and by April 20th, you're closed. But your seller doesn't want to move until, or can't move until July 1st. So what are you going to do now? So if you do it this way and you address this elephant, right, in the house, I bet you're probably one of the very few agents that actually bring that stuff up, because most people figure that out while they're in escrow, and then they're going to scramble and they're going to say, oh shit, what are we going to do? Right? I cannot take that offer. That's too fast of a close. I need to. So here are a few solutions, right? What can you do? Book the time I find a housing temporary, not negotiate a longer escrow, take the listing later. I would never take the listing later. Take the listing when you can, right? And put it on an off-market list. Renee, talk about our off-market list really quick.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a good size group too, and it sounds like a lot of people are in Colorado. So our EXP, well, not just our group, but we have people that are in Sacramento that are listing heavy. We've built an off-market list that we all share with each other. And it's just a Google spreadsheet that people, like don't always go in and edit and update. But like I have a listing appointment I'm going to go on tomorrow, and they live in the snow. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. We don't have as much snow, but this one's up in the foothills a little further. And I'm like, I don't think that we should go on the actual MLS until after snowy season. They're super remote. It's definitely in the mountains. And so I said, let's just, get up there. If your timing is okay with us selling during the snowy season, we'll just put you on the off-market list. We'll market it, on Zenlist. We'll market it to the different pages. I'm sure you guys have Facebook groups that are like, hey, we have this listing, seller would sell now, but we don't want to have that days on the market creep up and have it make this listing look stale. So we put them on the off-market list, and our group is selling, anywhere from 2 to 10 houses a month off of that list before things even go on the market. So it's pretty powerful to be able to tell a seller, like, we can market you without having it, be on the market. So you don't have to have it be pristine, every day of the week for the next, 6 months while we wait for the snow to melt. Like we can be doing this selectively. So,
but I think that the message here is get the listing signed, because things change, right? People change. They run into a Christmas party and another realtor that becomes their best friend, but now you have the listing. And then obviously some more traditional solutions would be negotiate a longer rent back or a rent back, right? Problems are there with the loan. If it's more than 2 months, you're going to potentially run into a problem for the buyer. You're limiting the buyer pool. Your seller may not want to pay that new buyer's PITI, right?
mm-hmm.
Because they're used to their $300,000 mortgage payment. And when they now have to pay the new buyer's cost of having that new loan of $600,000, they just doubled the expense. So there's problems, right? But I think that off-market list is a great way of getting the commitment from the seller, getting it started to market, and bridge that gap if you have to bridge a gap. My personal least favorite ones is a longer escrow or not getting the listing signed. So just try to stay away from those.
Yeah. Too many things go wrong with long escrows. We have one that, like, we've sold the house. This is the 3rd time, and I think 3rd time's a charm. And it's a 15-day escrow. I'm like, let's do it. Yes, let's just get her done. Get paid before Christmas. Woo!
So list price to sales price ratio, I think that's, aside from the days on market and how likely are you to sell your listing, the number one number, right? So, and that's so super easy to do. You look at what is your list price when you listed the home, what did it sell for, and then you do the math, right? And hopefully it'll be very close to 100% or over. Ours right now, I just pulled it, is 102.32%. Now that doesn't sound so exciting because you always hear, everything sells above asking with 15 offers, and I don't know how it is in your market, but guess what? That was 2 months ago. That was in August when interest rates dipped in the 5s. Right now, at the end of the year, with interest rates in the 7s, not so much anymore. And
Yeah.
why do I know that? Because I pulled the numbers for the market itself. 97%, actually 99% if it sells in the first 30 days.
No.
If it sells between 31 and 60 days, it's 96.57%. And if you take all days, right? We had for Eldorado Hills, we had 95%. So, in other words, you can go with the average Joe Schmo agent and sell for 95% of your asking price. You're at $1 million, right? So you're selling for 950. So you're selling for $50,000 less than what you hoped for. Or you could sell with the Frederick team and you're selling for $20,000 more, which is better for you. But if you don't do that, right? And then first of all, chances are that the guy that comes next after you doesn't even know that number. Not even for the market, much less for themselves. Maybe they know it for themselves, but not for the market and how to position themselves for that. So my point is it's super easy to obtain those numbers. Again, if you don't have your own numbers, use those for your team, right? And again, hopefully they're better than what you're comparing them to. If not, then obviously I wouldn't bring it up. And just so our average days on market for the market right now is 60 days. So our 18 days sound really good, right? Because again, a lot of things can go wrong in 60 days. The market could completely shift even more so, right? Okay, here's how you get those numbers. I don't know what kind of MLS system you use. We use Rapatoni. It's very user-friendly. You can run so many different reports, but any MLS that you use will probably let you run your statistics on your listings on market statistics. If not, there's probably board numbers available that the board publishes. And if you don't have access to any of it, there's things called like broker metrics. I don't know if the Colorado broker has access to that. I'm not sure if we do in California, but we typically don't even use that. We go to our title rep and ask them, hey, can you run the numbers for this agent or for this agency, right? If I know, okay, I'm going to be up against Remax instead of another EXP agent, and then they don't want to give me the name. So there's several sources where you can get those numbers pretty easily, right? Market by the numbers. Importance of knowing the markets, right? So let's skip over that, Renee. And then months of inventory, just in general. In the past, we would say anything less than 6 months of inventory is a seller's market. And then 6 to 9 months is inventory is a neutral market. We have not seen anything other than a seller's market by that definition for I don't know how many since COVID. And you hear that all the time, and that's why prices keep going up, especially in our area. People sit on the sidelines waiting for interest rates to come down while purchase price or while the prices for homes keep creeping up. Do they keep creeping up at 6 and 7 and 8 and 9% a year over year? No, they creep up, but they're still creeping up, at least in our area, by 2-3%. So you being able to articulate to your client, especially the buyers now in this case, right? And saying, okay, you know what? Don't wait for interest rates to come down. If you can afford to buy the home right now and you feel comfortable with the payment that you have buy the home now at today's prices and refinance in a couple of years or next year or whenever. Or if you can't refinance, you can afford the payment, at least you are taking part of the appreciation that takes place in the market, right?
Is it Warren Buffett? Don't wait to buy real estate and wait.
Yeah, very good
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yeah.
And then keep in mind that this depends also based on price point. You may have a buyer's market in the luxury market because there's very few buyers and lots of inventory, and you may have 13 months of inventory there. But if you drop it for the bread and butter in our area, that's between $600,000 and $700,000, right? If you have that home, you definitely have you have a seller's market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by pricing, and especially when you're at the cusp of one price point to another, and where you would be entering the luxury market versus not, just keep that in mind when you're looking at the numbers too, and say, okay, if we price it just $50,000 below, we're gonna open it up to so many more buyers. And again, I guarantee you, most agents don't even talk about that. So I, for instance, ran the numbers here for our market area, and I looked at it. So we have one listing that's at 4 million, between 4.75 million and 5 million listed right now. And then we have one listing that's listed between 7 and 8 million. But guess what? The most expensive home in the last 30 days that sold was at 2,749,999. So what does that tell you about the guy that's priced at 2,750,000, a dollar above the most expensive listing that sold? He has an infinite number of months of inventory because nobody's spending more than 2.75 million, right? So having that conversation with your seller and say, hey, let's drop it down to 2,700,000 and get you sold next month.
And even with low inventory right now, I think we're, at least for our market, we're seeing that it feels a little bit more balanced or more like a buyer's market just simply because of the interest rates. So
Right.
buyers, there's very few buyers. So even though we have low inventory and low months supply of inventory, we're still seeing the buyers kind of driving that ship because there's not that many of them that are willing to jump in at over 7% interest rate.
Right. Oh, there's one thing I want to go back to. You don't have to go back on this on the slide. When you know the market's average list to sales price ratio, and I shared earlier that the market is at 95%, right, on average for our market, share that with the buyer. Don't tell him, but print it out and show them, because that eliminates the buyer that wants to come in at 10% below asking price when the home has been on the market for 7 days, saving you a lot of headache, right? Because it's just not going to happen,
We
especially
do
if the
that.
home has been on the market for 7 days.
We do that in the buyer consultation. We pull up
Yeah.
the price point that they're looking at and just show them, again, showing, not telling, hey, look, in your price point in this area, you know, our sellers are getting between 98 and 99% of their asking price, especially if it's, you know, less than a week on the market. So let's not, excuse me, let's not insult the sellers or, you know, insult the agent's intelligence that they didn't price it correctly. Like, let's be strong. If this is your house, let's be strong and go in with the right offer. I might have to go get water, you guys. Sorry. I'll try not to.
Don't, because I don't have control over the.
Right. I know. That's what I was just thinking. So,
Okay,
here we go.
months of inventory continued. So we just talked about that, right? That different price points may have different inventory months. So KPIs, key performance indicators, like I said earlier, they're leading and lagging ones. The leading ones, those are the ones that you can influence, right? So this is the number of calls you make, how many open houses you do, things like that. The lagging ones is looking back and see the results that those activities produced. They give you insight too, right? For instance, and so some of them are, how many dials do I have to make to talk to 10 people, right? I mean, it used to be, when I first started, I knew I had to do 120 calls with the motor dialer, which took me about an hour to talk to 10 people. That's a good number to know, right? Now it takes me almost double, because people don't answer their phones anymore. Everybody has the spam filters on, right? Our number comes up as spam sometimes. Now I would probably add a number. How many people do I have to text to get a text back? That would be a good number to know, right? How many people, and then you can go from there. Then how many contacts do I have to talk to get the listing appointment or to get a buyer appointment? And then keep going, Renee. And once you know those numbers, then you can do something with the numbers. For instance, if it takes you 100 contacts to an appointment, maybe you need to work on your scripts, right? If it takes you 100 calls to get 10 contacts, maybe you change the time of day you make the calls. Maybe you start calling in the evening when people are home, call on the weekends, right? Same with door knocking. If nobody answers the door, maybe door knock Saturday mornings, Sunday afternoons, instead of 9 to 5. Now, I mean, I don't know the number exactly, but there's a huge number of households with double incomes, right? So 20 years ago, lots of the one of the people, I don't want to be I want to be politically correct. Not always the wife has to stay at home, but back then the wife took care of the kids and stayed at home, so there was a better chance for somebody to open the door because there was somebody home. Now everybody has to go to work, so nobody's at home.
That's
So
why all the
that's why
Utah
this
agents
is
can go
fine.
door knocking, because there's a
Right.
way higher percentage of people that have, you know,
Right.
like one income families versus in California, it's just not feasible. Like you just can't have a single, I mean, you can, I shouldn't say that. Our community, there actually were a lot of stay-at-home spouses, whether it was the wife or the husband. We just never got to be one of those. Actually, I couldn't be one of those. Like that is not my jam. So
Yeah. And then if you go on 10 listing appointments, but you only take 3 listings, maybe you should work on your listing and presentation, right? So those are the numbers that you need to know for yourself, not so much share with necessarily, a consumer.
yeah, don't share with your sellers that you're on the listing appointment. Hey, I only take 3 of these out of 10, so whatever,
Are you the one? Are
Don't
you the
share
one
that.
today? Don't do that. Okay, Renee. So, and then I think a big thing, our industry, so many people sell to us. Like there's a whole industry selling to us stuff, crap, right? We used to buy Zillow leads when it was not Zillow Flex, when it was a flat fee. And just in general, Zillow is a inventory driven model. In other words, if you have low inventory, that model does not work because you have no product that you can put in front, or not enough product that you can put in front of the consumer for that model to work for an agent, right? And regardless, now Zillow went to a Zillow Flex anyways in most marketplaces, so it's only a few chosen ones get to play with. But there was a time where we had a 4-to-1 ratio. So for every dollar we spend on Zillow, we would get $4 back. Why would I not do that, right? But you need to know the number. And then we stopped using Zillow when that number went down. And now every time they ask us, they say, well, there used to be that time where we would do 1 to 4, and now I'm not getting, like, we just stopped playing with Realtor.com because we spend $1,000 on Realtor.com a month, and we got 0 business out of it. So when it became time to renew, I could have an educated conversation with the sales rep and say, you promised this didn't happen. I'm not in the business of throwing money away. If you want to give me 3 months free and see if you can do better, I'd be all for it. But I'm not going to up my spend or renew even if I have 0 business. And Renee is so awesome, right? So she's been calling people, and we have those numbers from the past. So she told the sales rep, it's not a conversion issue. I know how to convert if I get the right people in front of me, right? It's a lead issue in this particular case. So, but you need to know the ROI, right? When a big part of our business is agent-to-agent networking and referral.
We love sending checks, you guys.
Yeah, we do. So
And we're in Sacramento.
That's a nice shameless plug. But we do. And so we keep track of how much money do we spend on EXPCon, how much money do we spend on Tom Ferry. We go there with a marketing piece to promote ourselves as the go-to referral agent in our area. That also costs money, right? We do all of those things, and we keep track of it. And our ROI is for that stuff pretty much through the roof, right? I mean, you can even throw in coaching because if you do coaching with a Tom Ferry or a success coaching or anything, that you go to those events, make sure that you network with them and that you work on getting referrals. So at least that pays for your coaching, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's it for me, Renee. I left you with 5 minutes.
Oh my gosh. These are some other resources that Mike had put together. We talked about KPIs and leading and lagging indicators, 4 disciplines of execution. It's been around for a while. If you haven't read that book, though, it's a really good one.
Quick pro tip: when people tell you and sell you something and they say it's only $50 a month, figure out what it's a year. And that the number sounds out. Now it's $600 a year. Would you be spending $600 on their
does that to me all the time,
right? So just figure out what it is a year and then make the decision based on that.
This is the part I love, our clients. So we make a big deal out of literally every single thing, you guys. We bought a red carpet a few years ago. We're on our second red carpet because it got so worn out, but make a big deal out of Key Day, celebrate the successes with your clients. And we just try to love on our clients, and that's a good portion of our business. So, and they love us, yay. So this business is tough, right? Like everybody sees Selling Sunset and they think it's all glamorous. But it can be very fun and rewarding. I actually had like a Selling Sunset moment last week. If you guys want, and I have this coming up, but follow us on social. We have a new gal that's helping us do more and like document more. And anyway, but most of the time it's not very glamorous. It's not like it can be a grind, but if we're working with people that we love, it makes it a lot more fun and rewarding. So how to do more business with the people that already know you. Hey, raise your hand if you like leaving thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on the table. Anyone?
I hope nobody.
So stay in touch with the people that already know, like, and trust you, right? So communicate on a regular basis. Our goal is 1 mail piece per month and 2 to 3 emails per month. Check in once a quarter. I'm so like guilty of this. Like I will call people I don't know and call the expireds and do circle dialing and all of the things. And then I'm like, oh, I haven't checked in with our, top 50 this month. Like, call the people that already know you. They want to help you. They want to see you successful. We've got social. It makes it so easy to know what's happening with our clients and our friends. Like and comment, engage with them. And then, just be strategic about when you're calling people, like bring up the big life events. Like, oh my gosh, I saw that, Sophia just, was doing the beekeeping thing down at college. Like, that's crazy. What is she up to? Like, how did she get in that class? If you see something unusual with a client, like check in with them on that. Because if they shared it, they're excited about it, right? So when they see that you're excited about it, they're going to remember that and the referrals will go up, I promise. Have in-person meetings with your top referring clients and friends. Really, truly, like the phone calls, the emails, everything's great, but nothing beats that face-to-face, belly-to-belly interaction. And then this is my favorite part because I like to have fun. So host in-person events with your sphere and clients. It's a great way to get them networking with each other. I have some pictures coming up. We do an Oktoberfest every year because you guys may have caught the accent that Mike has. That's one of the reasons that I was attracted to him. I'm a sucker for a good accent. He's from Germany. And so about 10 years ago, we started throwing an Oktoberfest every year for our clients. And it was so cool this year. I looked around and our contractor was there and he hasn't done business with us yet. I know that he will eventually. But looking around, I was like, he fixed their fence, he fixed their kitchen, he fixed their garage. Like just knowing that you're not just getting business from your sphere, but you're connecting people so that they all do better as well. Like it's just so rewarding. This is Oktoberfest. We also took our clients out to a ball game. So we reserved, I think it was like 30 or 40 tickets and took them to our I don't even know if it's AA or AAA. Anyway, the Giants feeder team is here in Sacramento. So we took everybody out to Raleigh Field. It's a very small, intimate ballpark. And so super fun, no bad seat. We did an event at a local tile shop where one of our clients worked, and we invited contractors so that our clients that were thinking about remodeling could go and ask them questions like, hey, what is this? What is that? It actually went over really well. And that was like right before COVID. And we haven't done that since. She doesn't work there anymore, so I don't know how we would do it. But anyway, people really enjoyed that. Mike's an amazing cook. So we have clients over and he cooks for them, and just anything you can do, I think, to really make it more fun. So building and growing your database. We have a list of 143 questions. I just grabbed the first 16 and threw them on here. But when you're trying to think of who should be in my database, everybody should be in your database. And then obviously ask permission and, make sure that you're giving, valuable information or items when you're reaching out to them so that they want to be on that list. But if you guys, I think I have our info on here, but if not, Jeff knows how to get in touch with us. If you want this list, we got it from Tom Ferry or somebody at some point, like the 143 questions. And then, oh, wow, that's a lot. So you want to have name, phone number, email address so that you can properly communicate with them. And then outside of those 143 questions, going to parties and events, don't be that person that's running around the room just handing out your business cards. Like nobody likes that person. And if you're having meaningful conversations with people and then just doing some follow up, like, thank you note or nice to meet you. And then ask permission, like, hey, I'd really love to keep in contact with you. Is it okay if I add you to my email list? Sometimes I send a deal of the week. Sometimes we send, like whatever it is that you're sending, but ask permission to stay in contact and focus on making connections with people that are in industries that could potentially send you multiple clients per year. So attorneys, financial advisors, lenders, obviously, always look to add value to them so that they'll be excited to hear from you. My favorite for the longest time, like I love to give back. And so volunteering in the community, I was on a nonprofit board for a lot of years with the Junior League of Sacramento. And it not only feels good to give back, but we've always got a good amount of business, especially when I was more involved. And like actually, going to the meetings and showing up because people will inevitably ask you, how's the market? And then if you're still, like wanting to grow, ask the people that you know who you should know. There's a really good book that I put at the bottom, Friend of a Friend, and it talks about our networks and how connected we really are. And I just find that I have more fun doing business with people that I already know than with strangers. And we get pretty lucky with the strangers we do business with too, that they all tend to be pretty awesome. But you've all had that client where you're like, oh my gosh, lose my number. So when you're already working with people that you like and that like you, it just makes it far more rewarding. So your top 50 are just that, the people that like when you see their name, you get excited to pick up the phone and call them or text them. I will say, like Mike alluded to earlier, people don't want to talk on the phone anymore. So really, kind of understanding that, like how does your client want to communicate? And most of the time that is via text now. And I'll get to a point in a text conversation with somebody where I'm like, okay, this like we need to talk live in real life now. And I'll say, hey, do you have a minute? Can I give you a call? Because, there's a lot of tonality, of course, that gets lost on a text thread and just in the written word. But back to the top 50, these are the people that are your favorite folks, the people that are always referring you. The people that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go have happy hour with you. Like, let's get together. You should be talking to these people every single month. So we have a Google spreadsheet that we use for that has pull down menu where it's like, okay, I talked to them or they came to a client event or I actually had a closing with them so that you can really keep track and see. And of course, the goal is that for all 50, you have something that you did with them 12 months out of the year. So, and then keep top grading your list. I looked recently and I was like, oh shoot, that person moved to Texas. Why are they still on my list? Like, I need to find a new person to go and replace that person. So always be top grading and going through the list. But really try to keep it at 50. If it gets beyond that, it's just hard to manage. And there was a coaching organization we were with a number of years ago. It's called Workman Success. I think Burl Workman has been at a handful of EXP events too. And if you look up top 50, and I can't think of the exact book, but not the 7 levels of communication, but they have an ebook on Workman Success that talks about the top 50 and systematically communicating with them. And they say that your top 50 should result in 86 transactions. I haven't seen that number, so that's still a goal of mine to get them to get there anyway. But this Michael Mayer book, The 7 Levels of Communication, that is golden. So grab that one. It's like a parable, so super easy read, but so many good nuggets in that book. And so now you've built your list. Obviously everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but most people love their birthday. Like we're all a little narcissistic. We all, like we wouldn't get through life if we didn't have a bit of an ego and love celebrating ourselves. So, and we wouldn't be in real estate if we weren't a little narcissistic. Let's just be real. I'm not talking like, anyway, I won't go political, but, so reach out to people on their birthday, send them a lottery ticket. Like, I'm so lucky to be in business with you or, so lucky to have you in my life, whatever that is. Anniversaries, call the spouse if you know their anniversary and say, hey, I set up a dinner reservation for you just in case. And just little things like that just really show how much you care. Home anniversaries, this is so easy, you guys. If you start to do the red carpet thing and you post that on social media when somebody closes on their house, Facebook will remind you, like, hey, Carrie's sister, oh my gosh, Patty, she just closed on her house 3 years ago, like 4 days ago. And so I just reshared and I was like, oh my God, Patty, it's been 3 years since you've lived next to your sister. Like, so excited. Congratulations again. It was so fun helping you and Aaron get in your home. And then they're like, oh my God, they remembered. And you didn't even have to remember. Facebook remembered for you. So lunches, happy hours. Like I said earlier, we have dinner at our house for some of our best clients and referral partners because Mike is a super good cook. So it's dangerous. He's so good. This is a lot of words, but these are just some other events and other touches that you can do. If you're having fun doing it, you're going to be much more likely to stick to it. So obviously we do that Oktoberfest that I was telling you about. We love to have parties, so that fits for us. Quarterly events. You could do happy hour, gratitude dinners, movies. One of my friends that lives in outside Denver, she does a quarterly thing at Topgolf. Our Topgolf is super far away from us, and I am really terrible at golf, so that wouldn't be my thing. I wouldn't stick with it. But if you love getting out to something like that, like they have a membership you can join, and super easy peasy. And try to have one coffee or lunch or happy hour with each person at least twice a year. Some people send letters of the heart. Yeah, that's not me, so I'm not going to do it. So again, just recognizing like, what am I committed to? What am I going to have fun with? And then go all in on those things. We're going to do an Easter egg hunt. We have 5 acres. And so we've always done Oktoberfest since we moved into this property, but our kids are done with school. So we're not like slave to the school schedule anymore. We used to always go out of town for Easter, and now we don't have to do that. We can go, and the kids are, like still in school. We can go and not have to deal with other people's kids on our vacations anymore. Anyway, so we're going to do an Easter egg hunt at the property, and don't feel like you have to do everything. Just whatever you do, create a plan, be consistent, and remember to make sure it's fun so that you and your clients look forward to it. And that's it.